Hello, and welcome to Stupid Topics and Dilemmas, the podcast where we talk about, yes, you guessed it, stupid topics and dilemmas. I'm your host, Chris Hoyles. Joining me, we have a self-described love guru, Mr. Ben Hoyles.
Hello.
Also joining me today, we have a man who has been banned 14 times on Tinder, Mr. David Smolin.
It's been a rough month. So for my topic, we did Joel Weather Day, maybe last episode, maybe a couple episodes ago, I don't remember. It's possibly come and gone, February 8th for those who don't remember. And I was reading the news on my little phone, not really reading, just the headlines. And I saw someone bit our shit, line for line, bar for bar.
No way.
What do you mean?
Alabama has Sand Mountain Sam, a possum that predicts the weather.
No.
No, well, obviously those weather predictions are not accurate.
He's actually more accurate than Puxatani Phil. He's a 60% accuracy, if I remember correctly, and Puxatani's like 40.
Okay, yeah, I actually read into this recently. Puxatani is only like 46% accurate.
Really?
And he
Because
predicts winter.
he has like a 40% chance, doesn't he? It's either yes or no.
Yeah.
He's got about a 50
Or 50-50.
Did you say 40-40?
Did I say 40-40?
You said 40-40.
Okay, I'll edit that bit
He's
out.
roughly 46% accurate,
50-50.
I believe.
Yeah, I agree. 40. I think that's what I read. And Sand Mountain Sam, the possum, is like 60% accurate.
Well, Joel's like close to 90, I think.
Joel's in the upper 90s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If he's having a bad stretch, it's mid-90s.
Yeah, during this recording, we're coming up on his prediction pretty soon.
Yeah.
But I think since his prediction is later in the month, he has a bit more data and can decide the weather a little bit more accurately.
Exactly.
Joel has a much more extensive education
He does.
than Puxatani.
So how does Mountain
Yes.
Bob Sam Pants predict the weather, David?
I don't actually know. It's a possum. I assume he hisses at them.
Or plays dead?
Yeah,
Hold on. If it's alive during the day, it obviously has rabies.
well, it's
So you really shouldn't take any scientific advice from it anyways.
Well, if it bit you, then there's more winter.
yeah. If he bites you, if he foams at the mouth when they pull him out of the box, it's gonna be a bad year.
If it bites you and you get rabies, you have more winter. If it bites you and you don't get rabies, spring's just around the corner.
Okay, I'm reading Sand Mountain the Reporter, and I believe that they said that he reads he sees his shadow too. I was not aware that possums were afraid of their shadows.
Possums don't typically see their shadows because they come out at night.
Exactly. So that's what's
So if they
confusing
came
me.
out during the day, I would assume they might be scared of their shadows.
Well, they are scared of the shadows. So scared that they play dead. They basically faint.
they play dead, and they never come out during the day ever again because they've been scarred.
I never understood why a possum plays dead.
Because if it's dead, you aren't gonna want to mess with it. And you go, what the hell killed that thing? I better get out of here.
No. If it's dead, then eat it.
I would
Yeah.
not eat that. If it just keels
I was
over,
gonna kill it anyways.
it's gotta be sick or something.
Well, David, you wouldn't eat it, but like a wild animal would. Like a dog.
They're obviously put off by it, Chris. It works. My dog's not put off by it. My dog just goes in. She has her fun time whenever that happens. She'll thrash it about. It's not a good strategy for dogs, but for other animals, I assume it has to work. They've lived this long.
But David, I also read another piece of news based around Groundhog's Day,
Did you?
and that is Canada has its own Puxatani Phil. A bit of a ripoff. It is a groundhog, and it comes out and sees its shadow. Canada, if you're listening, please find something else. So, I mean, that's not cool to just to
No.
rip something
Use a
off
moose
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah, like, come on, be creative. But prior to February 2nd, which, as we all know, is Groundhog's Day, this groundhog, which I forget its name, was found dead
Oh.
about 12 hours before it was supposed to come out
Oh, no.
and see its shadow. Canada, if this is not enough of a warning sign, then
let us tell you.
How'd it die?
It's time to get a different animal. Let it die.
Oh, I do have to ask, how accurate has that groundhog been? Because if it is a highly accurate animal and it died, that does not bode well for Canada.
I don't know. I hope it's not. I doubt it's more accurate than Puxatawny.
Puxatawny's kind of mid, He's not the most accurate, so I would not be surprised if Canada's was more
But the
accurate.
Canadian one must be worse.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was better.
The Canadian groundhog is named Fred Le Marmot.
Fred Le Marmot. That's not bad.
It's a Canadian woodchuck.
That's a woodchuck.
No, it's a marmot.
Just hours before he was due to predict spring's arrival, Fred Le Marmot was found dead.
So what was the end result? Spring coming or not?
Is Canada experiencing the apocalypse these days, or what?
They still somehow predicted his shadow.
They held up his dead corpse and they're like, "Can you see the shadow?
Can you see it?
Oh no! It was Wearton Willie.
So they had a backup one.
They had an understudy."
You would hope they have an understudy.
In Kitchener, they have Wearton Willie.
I don't know about that one.
And that's the most Canadian name you'll ever hear is Wearton. They come out with the weirdest stuff.
So complicated you can't even pronounce it.
No.
Exactly. And I'm Canadian. And just for reference, viewers, Puxatawny predicted a long winter, I believe, didn't he?
He did.
So, we'll see.
Well, we'll see what Joel
America
predicts.
versus Canada.
They predicted a long winter, but it's like 80 degrees today. So unless we get another cold front, which we likely will, but I mean, come on. It's not looking good.
There we go. All right, so this topic is going to be a little interesting. I want to know how you guys do things, like the order of how you guys do things. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, a very common example is order of making your cereal. You know, do you put the milk in first or do you put the cereal in first? I personally put the cereal in first and then pour the milk in. So we're going to go through a couple of those. I'd like to see what Ben and David like to do, and we can, if all three of us do one thing the same, then there's no need to debate it anymore.
That's the right way to do it.
That is the definitive way. So I just brought up milk and cereal. I just said I put the cereal in first, then the milk. Ben, what do you do?
I am not a heretic, nor am I a demon spawn, so I put in the cereal before the milk as well.
As you should. David?
I'm happy to agree with y'all. I do put the cereal in first and then the milk. Because then, if you pour too much cereal, you can put it back in. You can never really have too much milk. It doesn't really throw off the ratio that much. It's more of how much cereal you want to eat the day.
Yeah. And, you know, if you have too much milk, you can always pour it out.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to eat the milk. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You just pour it down the drain or something.
Yeah.
Cereal, if you have too much cereal, it's going to waste.
Yeah, that one's pretty definitive. Next one. This one might be hard for you guys to remember, but try and remember the best. How do you set off and drive, like start your car? So imagine you walked out of your house and you're going to the grocery store. Between you coming out of your house and on the road to the grocery store, like how do you start up your car and all that stuff? Like what's the order? So for instance, for me, I come out my door, unlock the car, open the driver door, step in. The first thing I always do is I start the car. Then I get out my phone.
Before even closing the door?
Yes, before I close the door.
Oh, really?
I'm not joking. I start the car, and then I'll close the door, and then I'll get out my phone, make sure I got the right playlist going because I don't want to be listening to a bad playlist. It'll ruin the whole experience. And then I'll put my phone in my pocket, or if I'm navigating somewhere, then I'll put the navigation on, and then I'll put it in reverse. As I'm reversing, I'll be putting on my seatbelt, put it in drive, and then take off?
Now, I'll go first. It has been a minute since I've driven regularly, but what I typically did was I'd get in, open and close the door, and then I'd open up my phone, I'd set up the playlist, and I would specifically choose songs. I'd hit shuffle, but I'd get rid of ones I don't want to listen to. And then I'd set up the navigation, and then I would turn on the car.
Oh.
That's how I would do it.
When do you put on your seatbelt? You don't put
I think
your seatbelt
right before
on,
I turn
do
on
you?
the car. No, right before I turn on the car, actually.
Okay. So turning on the car is like
Like
one
I
of the
said,
last
it's
things
been
you
a
do.
minute. Yeah, it is the last thing I do.
All right. Interesting. Ben?
So mine is almost exactly opposite to David's, honestly. My car has like remote start, which is very important.
This really is opposite then.
In a northern state. I think you guys in the north with harsher winters will understand, but you need to start your car probably about like 5 or 10 minutes before you actually get into it,
Like a shower.
just to save yourself from frostbite, basically. So I'll start my car before I even leave my house or my room. And then when I get into my car, when you open the door, the car turns off, just so nobody steals your car. So after I open the door, I guess it's more like a regular car starting.
So you turn your car
procedure, like you
on,
guys
then
detailed.
off, then get in.
Then I get in. Then I close the door. I don't wait like Chris. I close the door.
You gotta close the
immediately 'cause
door. You don't know who's gonna attack you or something.
Well,
out
it's
there.
only
You
a
gotta
couple
lock it,
seconds
too.
where the door is left open.
Couple of seconds. You're choosing
There
playlists.
could be a lady with a sword cane
No,
following
I
you.
said I start it, then shut it.
But I immediately close the door as soon as I get in, and then I immediately start the car. Unlike David, I immediately start the car, and then I sit still for about 5 seconds while the car's,
Just think.
in its
What do you
starting
do in those
procedure.
moments?
Well, I trying not to be cold.
Things about life
thinking
decisions.
about warmth and
Assuming it's summer.
assuming it's summer, I would just I would carry on. But
Okay.
since it's winter
Yeah.
when we're making this podcast,
Okay.
I think about warm things. Try not to be depressed. And then about 5 seconds later, the music automatically starts playing. It plays Spotify, and I don't change the playlist because the playlist is always correct.
That's extremely lucky of you.
I always go with the same thing. Of course, it's 24 hours of Stupid Topics and Dilemma podcast,
Obviously.
which it should be for every single person listening to this, and of course, Chris, David, and
Yes.
I can't think of anything else to listen to.
I mean, it's unconceivable. But after the music starts playing, I'll either put in a destination, or I'll just take off. I don't have a very complicated starting procedure.
I mean, I don't
guess.
think any of us really do. It's just some oddities there.
Yeah. It's just the
Couple
order.
people.
Chris has some oddities.
No.
Chris has some oddities.
I mean, David turns on the last thing David does is turn on his car. That's kind of odd.
I turn my car on last to conserve battery.
David, you don't even have an electric car.
your car battery?
Yeah, car battery.
Your car charges its own battery.
Yeah, but if you just sit there with it running, that kills the battery.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
If you leave your car running, it will be dead when you come back.
If you
to
leave
it.
the key in it, it'll leave it dead. Or if you leave the door open,
Exactly.
it'll make it dead.
Exactly.
If your cylinders are firing, your battery is completely
But if you're
fine.
just sitting there in park after you turn it on, that will drain your battery. It'll come back, but it will drain your battery, especially if you're close.
only if your engine is off.
Exactly. You turn the car on, your engine's off.
Why would you turn your car on with the engine off if you're planning to leave?
Because then you're going to set up navigation and music. You're not putting it in drive. You left it in park.
You need to warm up your car. It doesn't work. You have to go through the cold start
I
procedures.
don't know, man.
Back in the day, they would have to, pull the choke. These days, it does it automatically, but you have to give it some
Pull
time.
the choke. Is that not an innuendo for something?
Oh my God. Okay, let's go to the next.
No, that's not a Valentine's Day innuendo.
Let's go to the
Okay,
next
good.
order of things. Next one is, this one might be a little controversial. The next one is brushing your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, why don't you start us with this one?
I don't know what you want to hear from me.
We'll just go through it. I already know what he's expecting.
How do you put toothpaste on your toothbrush?
Oh.
Ben doesn't brush his teeth. That's what's throwing him off. He's like, you're supposed to do that?
He's like, when was the last time I did a toothbrush? Back in the 90s.
If you want a very detailed...
No, not just very detailed, just your simple steps.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll take my toothbrush off the charger. I'm trying to remember, honestly. I think I run it in water first and then put the toothpaste on and then just start brushing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't? Okay, I know what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. So like Ben, I take my toothbrush off the charger because I'm bougie like that. If I'm feeling a little fancy, I'll run it under the water. I'll turn it on before I run it under the water just to make it, make it dance a
Turn
little
it
bit.
on before you run down the water.
Just to make it dance a little bit. I'll turn it off again just to get the gears turning. Then I'll put the toothpaste on. Then I'll put it back under the water, and then I'll brush my teeth. You got to get the toothpaste wet. That's the primary thing.
See, I do exactly what Ben said.
You don't get the toothpaste wet.
The toothbrush is already wet. Why does the toothpaste need to be wet?
You don't need the brush to be
Yeah.
wet. You need the paste to be wet.
The bristles are lubricated thoroughly. The
The
toothpaste...
toothpaste is already wet. It's moist.
Now here's the thing.
Your spit even makes it wetter.
Here's the thing. If you moisten a toothbrush, it's a higher chance the toothpaste is just going to come off of it in your mouth. You have a lump of toothpaste just going around in there.
That's why you brush
the
it
brush
around.
is
No,
dry.
that never happens.
If the brush is
That
dry,
never
the
happens.
paste kind of gets in the bristles. It's a better cleaning. It lathers it.
That's why you wet the brushes before you put the toothpaste
That's what
on.
I'm telling you. If you wet the bristles, the paste just comes right off. Then you just get at the back of your gums, like, it's minty back there. But the rest of my teeth don't have
is
anything.
meant to be an abrasive, though.
It
And
is.
it's meant to kind of stick to your teeth.
But not the whole
So
lump at
wetting
once. Not the whole lump at once.
Wetting it just dissolves it into your saliva.
It doesn't dissolve it, though.
It doesn't apply to your teeth.
But what if you're rinsing the toothpaste under the sink and the clump falls off the toothbrush?
Then you're
True,
bad.
yeah.
Then you're bad.
I
If
got a
that's a
pretty
problem you have,
high-powered.
you're bad.
I got a pretty high-powered sink here.
Hey, you go gently.
He's got a jet stream of a
Yeah,
faucet.
I got jacuzzi jets for my faucet.
I'll have you know that whenever I go in for dentist appointments and they do their scheduled cleaning, they're always very surprised, very pleasantly surprised. They say, David, your mouth is exemplary.
That's all you get because I get way more than that.
That you do not.
Dentists tell every single patient that.
I guarantee you they
And
don't. I'm special,
I bet
Ben.
you they do.
They say, Chris, you have the most perfectly white teeth I've ever seen. Your teeth are plenty
That's not
straight.
true.
No cavities, no plaque. I don't even know why you're paying to be here. Chris, you can go home.
Chris, I've seen your teeth. You're a filthy liar. They're perfectly fine, but they're not that.
I've heard that every single time as well.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
And it's as if you're giving these guys thousands of dollars
No,
to
'cause here's the
literally
thing.
brush your teeth.
Here's
for
the thing.
you.
If they scare you and tell you you're awful at it, then they get the upsell. Then they get to charge you for cavities and things like that.
No,
Yes.
you're like, this guy hates me. I never
Nope.
want to see him again.
No, you have to go there. I have responsibility.
Or you're like, this guy's a hype man. I love this guy. I want to get my
No,
teeth.
I don't want my teeth
every
checked
single
by a
week.
yes man. I want my teeth checked by someone with data and evidence that my mouth is excellent.
Well, David,
You need to find a different.
it's
dentist,
two
my
against
friend.
one.
Mine's not a yes man.
I think you're outnumbered here, David.
I'm telling you,
Viewers,
I know what I'm doing.
if you've ever been to the dentist and they tell you your teeth suck, I'd like you to leave a comment down
I
below.
guarantee it's happening.
I imagine there will be 0 of you. I bet every single viewer has had exemplary results from their dentist.
There might be a different reason why there's
just like
0 of
everyone
them.
else.
All right, our next one is the order of, and I already know how Ben and David do this, but let's just explain it to the listeners because they don't know this. But how do you make hot chocolate?
How do you know how I make hot chocolate?
Because when
You
you were
don't
at
know
my
me.
house,
Yeah, I'm curious.
when we were all at my house, we all made hot chocolate and we went over this. So I know
That is
we've already
true.
went over this, but we didn't record it. So I guess I'll go first. The first thing I do is I use milk, of course. Who uses water? Water is far less superior.
Heretics use water.
milk is far superior. So the first thing I do is I get a mug out, fill it with milk, nuke it for about 2 minutes, depending how big the mug is. Then I get the powder, put it in the hot milk, stir the powder in, and then I might nuke it for a couple more seconds just to make sure it's nice and piping hot. And then I'll put some marshmallows on it if I've got some. And then bon appetit.
I'll let Ben go next because I know I'm going to get shit in a minute.
So, okay, Chris, your method is fine. I think it lacks scholarly methodology.
That's a bold claim.
So the laws of thermodynamics.
Oh my God.
May I brief you guys on
No,
this?
I've already passed that class. I'm fine.
The laws of thermodynamics state that a higher temperature and a higher pressure will lead to increased solubility. And the goal of making hot chocolate from a packet is increased solubility. So my method is pour the milk in the cup, then pour the hot chocolate powder in the cup, then put it in the microwave.
You do it cold. You put it in cold milk. That goes against what you just said.
No, because then once you put it in the microwave, you're heating the milk and you're heating the powder. As increased
But you still get
heat
lumps.
energy.
You get lumps that way because the cold milk and the cold
No.
powder have already enveloped each other and made lumps by the time you put it in the microwave.
No.
They have.
It's a lumpy
No,
mess,
because
Ben.
those lumps will dissolve once they heat up.
Maybe in your fairy world they get dissolved, but in the real world,
Viewers at home, you make 2 cups of chocolate. You try one way with my way, one way with Chris's way. You will find my way increases solubility of the hot chocolate.
Ben, I already know what's going to happen. The listeners are going to do this. They're going to be very fed up with your method, and they're going to end up with one of their favorite mugs broken on the ground because they're just too frustrated.
Why would it be
they'd be
broken?
mad. They'd throw it.
They're like, this isn't working.
Actually, Ben, this is why the mug's going to break, because they listened to your nerd explanation, heard higher pressure, and they decided to push on it.
Have you guys ever heated up your milk and then tried to put in the hot chocolate and then you're just stirring as hard as you can? You're trying to make a vortex because you think vortexes are like the solve.
No, I don't do that.
No.
Okay, and then you keep stirring and like there's still lumps everywhere.
No.
That doesn't happen when you heat it all up together.
It doesn't happen the way me and Chris do it either.
All right, David, let's hear how you do it. I feel like David and I might be on the same page here.
So, I know it's wrong, but I do use water out of laziness. All right? I know it's wrong.
I don't even want to hear your explanation.
I don't generally have
Chris,
milk on hand.
can we move
Hold
on?
up, Ben. You can always substitute milk for water.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I have milk,
But you
I
can't
will
substitute
use
water
milk.
for milk.
It says on the packet you can use water. It says so.
David, I know what it says. I'm just not interested.
I know it's wrong, but that's
Like-
what I do.
Honestly, your application, it does not interest me, and I'm like, it hurts me to
That's
hear.
just
Chris,
because you
I hope
know
you feel
I'm
the
going to
same way.
agree with Chris the rest of the way.
Well, Ben, it does interest me. And if you keep interrupting him, I just might have to mute you.
I hope you mute David because this is honestly sacrilege.
David, continue.
So, I use milk, okay? And then I put the milk in the microwave, and I love smelling hot milk. That's great. I love that. It's a little gross to me. But then I pull it out, I put the powder in, and I stir it, and I get no lumps. It's not a problem that the rest of us live with, Ben.
So you do it the same as me, David, basically.
I do it identically to you. That's actually, yeah.
Yeah. That's how you do it, Ben.
But how long do you have to wait after your stuff comes out of the microwave to actually drink
I
it?
don't wait. I drink it immediately. I put the stuff in, I stir it, and I just take a sip right there.
Yep. Sometimes I'll put it in a little bit more just to make sure it's warm. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. If I'm feeling a little frisky, some peppermint schnapps, some marshmallows.
Now,
some
I'm
whipped cream.
glad none of us said we put the powder in the mug first nuke it,
Yeah.
and then put in the milk.
That's who would do that?
I'd be interested to see how that works.
You weren't abiding by my laws of thermodynamics.
But I'd be interested to like get the powder as hot as possible.
I actually microwave the mug, and then I put the powder in there, and then I pour the mug's powder into the milk jug. That's what I do.
So this is what I do. I heat up the milk, put the powder on, get a blowtorch, and kind of creme brulee the top.
Ooh,
Yeah, fancy.
I'm sure that works.
Here's what you do. You take a spoonful of the powder, you eat it raw, okay? Then you drink a glass of milk, and then you go to bed.
Piping hot
You're
milk,
done.
Ben.
That's your hot
That
chocolate.
would just be chocolate milk.
Or
if
just
you just
water.
Drink
Oh, yeah.
Water would work too.
Kill yourself. Water would not work. Water has no place in hot chocolate.
There's powdered milk in those packets. You know that, right?
Yes, there is.
Kill yourself. It doesn't matter.
There's astronaut
It
milk
doesn't
in there,
matter.
man.
It doesn't matter.
If it's good enough for the astronauts, it's good enough for us.
Exactly. I'm having astronaut.
It's not
I'm
good
having
enough for us,
astronaut
man.
hot chocolate, and you're having poor civilian hot chocolate. How does that make you feel? Be mad.
You're mad that you can't afford milk.
Well, there we go, listeners. This is the order of how we do things. If you differ or agree with us, let us know by emailing us at podcastdilemmas@gmail.com.
We don't want to hear from them if they differ from us.
Well, no, I would be interested to see what they're doing.
No.
You're not changing the laws of thermodynamics. I'm sorry.
Only email us if you agree with us and disagree with Ben.
If you agree specifically with me, email
No.
us and drop a like and subscribe to our page.
Now we're going to get no likes, Ben. You know that,
And
right?
write a review if you'd like as well. There we go.
A new trend I've noticed about once a day now is people using canes. Have you guys noticed this?
Canes are cool.
Canes are cool.
Canes are extremely cool. And these people I see with canes are not visibly using the
Actually, I
canes.
do have to ask before we continue. What do these canes look like? Are these the CVS multi-leg aluminum tubing cane? Is this
Not
a
multi-leg.
walking stick?
With some tennis balls on the bottom.
Yeah, tennis ball on the bottom.
Not tennis ball, but it does have like the rubber like thing
Hold
on the
on,
bottom.
Ben.
It looks like a
Hold on, Ben. You're saying people are carrying around canes, they're not using them to walk, and it has a noticeable tip, right? Are these people blind?
they're not blind. They're definitely not blind.
They keep moving it
No.
in front of them, and they keep banging them
No.
into
And I think they're
things.
so cool with their sunglasses.
Yeah.
No.
Some of them have a dog.
Yeah.
No, because like I would see people like walking up a hill and they're just kind of carrying, like they're just like the cane touches the ground, but they're not putting any weight on it.
Uh-huh.
So it's either there's a cane as like a fashion statement, or there's just a lot of people with like an unexplainable amount of people with minor leg injuries.
Maybe you live in a high crime neighborhood, Ben.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
Yeah, what's the saying? Speak quietly and carry a big stick or something?
I don't know.
I have never heard of that.
It's some president said
But
it.
I am totally for this new
I
cane
do like the
meta
cane ones.
in the fashion industry.
Mhm.
I am more than willing to adopt the cane.
I feel like it'd be a
as
hassle.
a-
I mean, people lose their umbrellas enough. Imagine a cane.
No, imagine if your cane was your umbrella.
I mean, I guess.
Then you could be the penguin.
Yeah.
Or your cane was your self-defense, like you had a sword cane
I mean,
I'm sure you could track that on
guess so.
campus, Ben.
or a shotgun cane
Again, like what Chris said.
or a lightsaber cane
Good luck finding
like
one.
Yoda. But this is an amazing fashion trend that I think has many different like undiscovered facets that we can
So, Ben, is what you're saying is that back then, people wore pretty nice clothes, if you think about it. You know, even the working class wore, what we would kind of call dress clothes. They were baggy, but dress clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, people wear, well, I'm wearing really comfy clothes. I'm not wearing pajamas, but I wouldn't call this, fancy. Are you saying we're transitioning back to fancy clothes?
I have not noticed a transition back to fancy clothes.
Well, it starts with the cane.
The people I've seen with canes are wearing modern clothes, which are like sweatpants and a t-shirt and a lot of jackets because it's like negative 20 degrees Celsius out here.
There's quite a lot of contrast in that outfit.
It starts with the cane, then it goes to the top hat, all right?
Yeah.
Then it goes to suspenders, then the jacket,
Pocket watch, maybe.
pocket watch, dress shoes, dress
Mhm.
pants, and last but not least, the bow tie.
Mm-hmm. Fancy.
Next thing you
man.
know, you look like Abe Lincoln.
If I want to get ahead of the fashion trend, I should get a cane, and before anyone else, I should get a bow tie.
No, bow ties last.
Suspenders.
Top hat is next, Ben.
I should get top hat,
Yes.
and then suspenders, and then.
Some coat. Get
Bow
some
tie
coat.
and-
Get a coat tail jacket.
All right,
Yeah.
but we got to start with the cane. Is what
Yes.
I've
That's
noticed.
Make
where
sure
it
you got a
starts.
guy playing piano music around you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Classical music.
Yeah.
And always looking at your pocket watch, checking the time.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a long stick to put a cigar on.
Ask how the stocks are doing.
That brings me into the next fashion trend I've noticed, which I think you guys have probably seen, and that is the mustache. We're getting a lot of mustaches these days. Mustaches are coming into the 21st century.
I don't think.
What I've noticed is the people with the fashionable mustache. Some people just have a mustache because they don't shave. But the people with
Is
a
there
fashionable...
such thing as a fashionable mustache?
The people with the statement mustaches then, okay?
Okay, all right.
Is that they also have other statements. Like one of them I noticed had a mullet. People were talking that he had an amazing mullet. It was a commendable mullet. I'm not a mullet guy, but it was a commendable one. These people, it's not just the mustache. That's just one facet of it, really.
I don't think the mustache ever left. A lot of hipsters have mustaches with the little
That's
curls.
true. We can ask, did it ever leave? Is there a
Yeah.
change in the mustache, Ben?
I think the mustache definitely left, and I think the mustache is seeing a new pickup right now
Mhm.
because I don't know. I'll just see people with just regular mustaches, not the hipster mustache. The hipster mustache is rare. It will always be rare. You're never gonna get a large amount of people curling their
Yeah.
mustaches. The beard has always been around since probably for the last 2,000 years,
Mhm.
right? And it will stay around. But the mustache has gone in and out of fashion. It's been faux pas at times, and very fashionable at other times. I think for the last 10 years, I think we didn't accept the mustache. It's like it's kind of you just don't groom yourself if you have a mustache. But now I think it's moving into a mustache meta.
What I've noticed is that there definitely is a large group think maybe of facial hair. Should it be clean shaven? Should it be beard? Should it be mustache? But a lot of people that just know how to do it right, they just do their own thing. Like Tom Selleck, whenever mustaches were still not a thing, he had an amazing mustache. He still has it. He's had it the whole time. Mustaches have come and gone.
Could you describe Tom Selleck for me? Because I don't know who that is.
He's the guy from Magnum P.I.
I don't know if he's from Magnum P.I. I know him from Friends. But he just
What?
did a couple episodes on there. Yeah, I know him from Friends. He just did a couple.
I thought you were saying like he's a main character.
No. He wasn't a main character. But I know he has an amazing bushy mustache. And he just kept it the whole time. He didn't change it when other people changed it.
See, that could be an indication of an extreme sense of style,
Mm-hmm.
or you're just a really old man stuck in your ways, right?
Well, my grandpa's had a mustache for as long as I can remember, and he's the most
Exactly.
fashionable man I know.
Well, this is from Chris.
Yeah, how long have you really known him? You've known him 20 years.
21.
Chris, I've known you for 20 years, and you've never had a mustache.
Would you like me to grow one?
Chris, you've also never shaved your eyebrows.
You're right. What do you want me to say to that?
So, for my topic, I've been realizing that we went from vinyl to DVDs to like maybe I skipped the cassette tape somewhere in there, all the way to MP3s, and now people are using vinyl again. What's up with that?
They think it's more raw, I think. I think that's why they pick vinyl. They say it's got like a more raw sound or something.
Huh.
I think actually before vinyl, David, we started on wax.
So if it was so good back then, why don't we use wax again?
Well, wax was pretty bad. I don't know if you've ever listened to that.
No, I haven't.
Not many people know this, but favoring vinyl over a lossless codec like CDs is actually a brain condition.
Is
these
it?
people are of lesser humans, yes.
That makes more sense to me. I was wondering why you would spend so much money on something when you can get it for free on an MP3.
That explains your large record collection, Ben.
Yes, those eagle-eyed viewers would notice that.
You have a huge record collection behind you. I just noticed them too. That's wild. What were you saying, Ben?
Those eagle-eyed viewers would notice I am one of those people with the brain condition.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I would get a record player just because I kind of think they're cool. You just
Okay.
pop a record on. You know, and I think some of them look cool too. I've seen like rooms with like a record player in them. I think it adds something to the room. You don't necessarily have to play something on it, but if you've got it, at least have something to play on it. But in terms of listening to music on its own, I'm sticking with the headphones.
Yeah, it seems inconvenient because like you gotta listen to just one album. It's hard to skip between songs. You gotta move the needle to the song. I don't know how you remember where the song is on the disc.
Well, what if you're trying to be a DJ and like mix it up? You scratch some records.
I mean, can't you do it with dials on like one of those other things?
DJ Jazzy
You
Jeff.
could, but
Yeah.
that's not as like physical.
No, they
It's
actually
not
make
real.
big dials, like a little thumb imprint, like a record, like the size of a record, but thumb imprint. You just scratch it.
But it's not real.
It's not real, no, but it's the same, feeling kind of, as far as I know.
Yeah, but if I'm DJ Snake and I'm scratching a record,
Wait, you're not DJ Snake?
I'm not for this podcast. I'm not DJ Snake, but say I am DJ
Okay.
Snake.
Now you are
Okay,
DJ Snake.
I take on the persona of DJ Snake, and I'm scratching a record. I want a real record. I'm not
Well,
taking no.
Obviously,
taking
DJ
no fake
Snake.
record.
Yeah, he'll get. But all these other people, they aren't DJ Snake, and they go and buy records all the time.
Yeah, but if you have like a Doja Cat record just laying around, you're not gonna listen to it, right?
No,
You might as well scratch the shit out of it.
but I don't think the people that own vinyls are doing that. I think they're very protective about their vinyl. They leave it in the plastic and everything.
Nah,
Yeah,
not
they've got
DJ
like
Snake.
the
DJ
Beatles,
Snake don't
Frank
care.
Sinatra.
Well, you're not scratching those
Yeah, I don't think DJ Snake is the primary customer.
for Beatles and Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
DJ Snake don't care.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't know
DJ
why we
Snake
do.
wants
well-
some hip hop.
David, have you ever tried listening to it before?
I actually have. I went to it. Here's the thing, actually, because you're not actually listening to the vinyl. They plug cords into it. You're listening to the speakers still. It goes from vinyl
Well, yeah.
to cords to speakers again. I don't get it. It's not really that different then.
But from vinyl to the speakers should be lossless, in theory.
In theory. But I don't know.
We're
Because
at
they
that
don't
point.
make the vinyl the same way they used to. They make the vinyl, I assume, from the MP3's waveform.
I think the vinyl should be the same.
Do they?
As long as you use it as a needle, it should be exactly the same, right?
I don't know anything about it. I'm just very confused. Just hoping y'all could enlighten me.
Basically, all you need to know is the
Mhm.
people who listen to vinyls are of lesser human beings, and typically in like modern society, we call them
Mhm.
hipsters.
Okay. I've been wondering because I see
I
those
just had a
stores with like the
brainwave.
bars on the windows, and now I understand it's to keep the people inside.
I just
What's
had
your brainwave?
I just had a brilliant brainwave. Sorry. So, you know how you're saying lots of people are going back to vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear about podcasts on vinyl, do you?
No. Oh, should we make a podcast pressing?
Yep. Yes, we should.
I would
I know,
buy
Ben,
that.
you're saying they're lesser brained people, but we got to tap every market with this podcast.
Well,
Sell
lesser
them this
brain people
episode.
is our main audience.
I don't
Exactly.
know that I would say that, but yeah.
We help make up that demographic.
The Stupid Podcast and Dilemmas audience knows they're not the brightest people in the world.
The first word is for the audience. The other two words are what it's about.
Our audience knows who they are. They know what grades they made in high school.
Exactly.
And we know as well, viewers. Don't think you're keeping a secret from us. We
Mhm.
know exactly who we're talking to.
We do our homework.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully you can buy this episode on vinyl soon then.
Coming
Support us
to
on
a store
Patreon.
near you.
If you'd like to see us on vinyls, drop us a like and send us a message on any of our email or social media,
Yeah,
and maybe we'll see if we can make that happen for you.
maybe.
What? Can I ask how? How do you do that? I don't know how
Again,
you
this,
do
We'll
that.
this all
figure it
falls
out.
to you, Chris. You're the main host.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's all
Chris,
on
this
me.
is kind of your issue.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you just Google, MP3 to vinyl, there's some guy out there who'll do it, right?
Some Etsy store that'll just do it for you.
If not, we'll figure it out.
We'll just sell them a blank vinyl. No grooves or anything.
Yeah.
Smooth, just like our audience's brain.
We'll give them a vinyl record, and then they'll be like, "What the heck? I can't hear anything." And we'll say, "Sorry, must be your machine."
Yeah, it's just a
Add
blank
grooves.
record.
Grooves
It
not
just says
included.
stupid podcasts and dilemmas on it.
Or you have to flip it over, right?
Yeah.
Well, for another
So let's just
song
make
or
it like the
something.
flip over place, like the worst place to flip it over.
Just in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
The beginning of an intro. to
Oh, and then when
something.
you flip it over, it's like a totally different episode.
I think there's a lot of dead space at the beginning too, just to really buffer it.
Yeah.
Is this thing working?
And the way you sell them, it's kind of like those mystery things, right? So, it comes in a package. You don't know which one you have until you open it, right?
Oh, I
And
like
so
that.
you have to collect them all in order to get the full episode.
And we have like one segment that's rarer than all the others to make them buy a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Airheads.
Mm-hmm. Just
You guys
like
ever had
Airheads.
mystery Airheads?
I hear that it's just a
They're the
combination of all the other flavors.
Yeah, it's just cherry.
It's just cherry.
Yeah, all Airheads are cherry. Have you ever had an Airhead that isn't cherry?
I
Think about it.
guarantee you I have.
Think about it. Have
Yeah,
you
I have
actually
been.
ever? Can
yeah,
you
the grape
remember?
ones. Yeah, the grape ones.
Grapes are pretty prominent.
Okay, it's either grape or cherry, but it's
There's also an
mostly
orange
cherry.
one, isn't there? And like a
No,
blue
kill
raspberry.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's all
There's a
cherry
blue
and grape.
raspberry.
Just don't even try to fight me on this.
Green apple.
You know it's all cherry and cherry.
Ben, is this like the
Your
Fruit
theory's
Loop
going down the
theory?
drain, Ben.
I think you're getting confused with Fruit Loops.
You guys are just naming flavors. You've never actually had an Airhead flavored those things.
To sum up what Ben
guarantee you
just
I have.
said, all Airheads are either cherry, grape, green apple, blue raspberry,
Or mystery.
David, am I missing one? What?
Mystery.
Oh, and mystery. Yeah.
It's just all their
yes, Ben, you're
flavors.
correct. Yeah.
Maybe
And
orange,
mysteries-
too.
Mystery's always
and
cherry.
I don't know, Ben. I gotta see you back this one up.
You guys can kill yourself.
Well, how about next podcast we all get a mystery Airhead and we all eat it.
When's the last time you guys have ever seen an Airhead? Like in the store, in your hand? I don't think I've ever seen an Airhead in like the last 5 years.
Not that I've noticed them, but I can swear they're at gas stations.
You think they're at gas stations?
I do think they are. I can't
Can you
remember them being
recall?
there recently. No, I
I
can't.
don't think I've ever seen one in the last.
Every single time I watched one of their commercials, I was scared to get in their head because you'd bite into one and then your head would
That's
explode.
true. I liked their commercials. They like the Capri Sun commercials.
I like the Capri Sun commercials.
Yeah.
As a child, when I saw the commercials, my parents had told me I had a massive ego. They told me that when I was 4 years old. And so when I saw those commercials with their head exploding, I'm like, well, that's just death for me. I already have a huge head, man.
I like that your parents just nipped that problem in the bud, you know?
They're
They
like,
sat him
"Ben,
down. They're like, "Look, Ben, you got a problem. All right, it's
He
your
got
ego."
like he got his quiz grade back in first grade and like, oh, well, we got to have an intervention about this one.
They told me, Ben, you probably think you look good, but you look ugly. And honestly, you're not that smart. And you're probably not going very far in this world. So do your best. We'll see where you end up. Don't expect anything in your will.
Holy
And
crap.
basically, I've been living on that principle ever since. And,
Have you?
obviously,
I was
don't
there
want a
for
bigger
that.
head.
Probably one of the best interventions I've been to.
Man,
Yeah,
I can't
'cause
imagine.
Chris, right after they told me that, what'd they tell you?
You can go play with your Legos now.
I think they called him the golden child is what I remember.
The chosen one, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, they said,
the dragon
"Chris,
warrior.
You are heir.
Chris is
you
the
ever need
golden
to.
child.
You can push Ben off the cliff into the pool or something." I'm surprised he hasn't had a sawed foot off or something yet.
What?
Get diabetes from all that sweetness. You gotta cut your foot off.
That was a bit of a
Bad joke.
bit of a
A
stretch.
bit of a reach.
It was
You
bit of
walked a
reach.
mile and nothing.
Can't stretch your feet when you have diabetes, I'll tell you that much.
All right.
Well, that's all we have for today. We learned that cane is the new direction for fashion and that there is only one correct way to make a cup of hot chocolate. Now, if you like this podcast, please consider giving us a follow on whatever platform you are listening with. If you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover, or if you just want a shout out, please contact us at podcastdilemmas@gmail.com. I'll put a link in the description. Or you could message us through one of our various social media sites, and if you'd like to support us, check out our Patreon by clicking the link below. But that's going to be goodbye from me, David,
Good luck, Heartbreakers.
Ben.
Salut.
Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.